I dumped my boyfriend after he refused to help me during an embarrassing bathroom emergency at the gym. So, this is a bit of a TMI situation, but I, 20F, need some outside perspective. I was at the gym yesterday, even though I was on my period, because I didn't want to skip my workout. I was pushing through, feeling sweaty and gross, but I was making it work. My then boyfriend, 23M, now ex, sometimes comes early to watch me work out. He was sitting on a chair nearby, and my bag was next to him. After a while, I started feeling some stomach discomfort. I thought it was just my period cramps acting up, but it got worse. Suddenly, I had a strong urge to go to the bathroom, so I rushed to the women's restroom. I went into a stall, and that's when things took a turn for the worse. I ended up in a full-blown nightmare. I had diarrhea, and of course, there were no tissues or toilet paper in the stall. To make it worse, I was also on my period, so it was just a total mess. I was thinking to myself, great, I'm stuck here. Thankfully, I had my phone with me. At this point, I didn't want to text my boyfriend because I was trying to maintain a sexy, composed image for him, but I was desperate. I texted him asking if he could grab some pads and tissues from my bag. He replied that he saw pads, but no tissues, but there were napkins in the gym. I then asked if he could come into the bathroom to hand me my bag, and that's when things got weird. He refused. He said he wouldn't go into the women's restroom because he didn't want to be seen as a creep. I tried suggesting that he just stand outside and hand my bag to any woman coming in, but he said that was also weird, and he wouldn't do that either. I was stuck, so I waited for what felt like forever until 3 women walked in. I felt embarrassed, but I had no choice. I asked one of them for help, and she kindly gave me pads and tissues. When I got home, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I ended up breaking up with him via video chat. He begged me not to end it, but I ignored his calls. I just didn't want to be around him anymore. Now, my best friend, 19F, is saying I was too harsh. She said there was no way to handle the situation without it being awkward, and that some guys just get the ick from periods. She thinks I should have been more understanding. But honestly, I feel like he should have just helped. AITA for breaking up with him over this? Update. Hey everyone, I wanted to provide an update on the situation because I've gotten a lot of messages asking how everything turned out. First, let me thank everyone who took the time to comment. I've had a lot to think about, and I can honestly say reading through all your responses has been eye-opening. So after breaking up with my now ex, I'll call him Jay for privacy, I didn't really talk to him much for a few days. I didn't feel like I owed him any explanations, honestly. I was still feeling frustrated and, to be real, a little embarrassed about everything that happened. It's not easy to admit to yourself that you were in a situation where you had to ask a stranger for help with something so personal. But then again, I knew I had no choice. I couldn't sit there in that stall all day. Anyway, Jay kept texting me, calling me, and asking to talk. I thought it was a bit much, but part of me felt guilty. I started thinking that maybe I had overreacted. I mean, he did try to help, right? He tried to offer napkins and stuff, but his refusal to just help me out when I was in the worst situation of my life, it didn't sit right with me. And I felt like if I tried to explain myself more, maybe he'd understand. Maybe he would apologize and promise to do better in the future. I agreed to meet up with him at a cafe to have a conversation. He was already waiting when I arrived, and he looked genuinely upset. I won't lie, I felt a little bad seeing him like that. He wasn't the type to beg for anything usually, but there he was, genuinely trying to explain himself. He started out by saying that he understood why I was upset, and that he felt bad that I had to go through what I did at the gym. He even said he didn't realize how serious it was until I explained it. He admitted that he didn't know how to handle the situation because, in his words, he was raised not to invade women's spaces like that. Now, I get that some people might not feel comfortable with things like period talk or helping in intimate situations, and I respect that to an extent. But at the same time, I felt like there was a real lack of empathy on his part. I mean, he didn't even try to think about what I was going through. He was more worried about how it looked to others than actually helping me when I really needed him. We talked for a while, and I tried to explain how I felt. I told him that it wasn't about the period itself or the mess. It was about being in a moment of vulnerability and having him completely refuse to help. It made me feel like he wasn't there for me, even when I needed him the most. He kept apologizing, but I wasn't sure if he really understood. He said that he would have done anything if it was a different situation, if I were hurt, or if someone needed help in some other way, but periods and bodily functions weren't something he was used to dealing with. He even said he wasn't prepared for something like that. That's when I realized we were just on different wavelengths, and it wasn't about this one incident anymore. It was about our relationship in general. I couldn't ignore how he reacted in that moment, and I couldn't pretend it didn't bother me. His inability to put himself in my shoes and just help me in a situation that wasn't even that hard to solve made me question whether he would ever really be there for me when things got tough in the future. I told him, kindly, that I wasn't sure our relationship could work because I needed someone who could be there for me, no matter how uncomfortable things got. Relationships require compromise and understanding, and I didn't feel like he was willing to make that effort for me. I could tell he was devastated, but at the same time, I was relieved to have said everything that had been on my mind. I didn't want to drag it out longer than necessary, because I knew this was something I couldn't ignore. After that meeting, I didn't talk to him for a while. I just needed space. A couple of days later, I got a text from him asking if we could still be friends. He said he understood if I didn't want to talk, but he really valued our time together and didn't want to lose me completely. At first, I thought about it. I thought maybe we could be friends, but then I realized that I wasn't really interested in being friends with someone who I felt wasn't supportive in the way I needed him to be. It wasn't just about this one incident. It was about a pattern of behavior I had been ignoring for too long. He had always been a little distant emotionally, and I was starting to see that it wasn't just a one-time thing. In the end, I blocked him on everything. I didn't want to keep second-guessing myself or looking back on the relationship with regret. I know it's harsh, but I feel like it was the right decision for me. I've been focusing more on myself, going to the gym, and hanging out with friends who are actually supportive of me. I'm still processing everything, but I feel more at peace now that I've let go of someone who didn't show me the respect I deserved when it really counted. So that's the update. I just wanted to thank everyone for the advice and support. It's been a difficult journey, but I'm definitely moving forward in a way that feels right for me. It's a little painful to think back on everything, but I know I made the right choice for my own well-being. Thank you again, and I'm doing well now.